The new Superman teaser is finally here, and it's revealed our first look at James Gunn's brand new DC universe. If you're wondering why there's a new Superman actor and who all those side characters are, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. This is a brand new Superman played by David Corenswet, who you might know from the Netflix show Hollywood. The reason it's not Henry Cavill is because James Gunn, the director, is rebooting the universe from the old DCEU. Basically, in October 2022, James Gunn and Peter Safran were hired as co-CEOs of DC Studios, and by January 2023, they announced a brand new slate of movies to start their universe. That means that the old DC Extended Universe with Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, and the Shazam and Black Adam movies is officially over. Instead, this universe is a fresh start, and none of the DCEU movies are canon, except for some exceptions. A handful of actors will return to play their previous roles, such as Viola Davis as Amanda Waller and John Cena as Peacemaker. Basically, James Gunn is keeping some of his old characters because he wants to continue the story that he started. The best way to explain this is that even though the actors are the same, this is a new universe. Think of it as an alternate Earth. Or if you're a comic book fan, think of it like the New 52, a universe reset which causes some things to change, like Superman's backstory, and other things to stay the same, like Peacemaker's backstory. If you want an in-universe explanation for what caused this, James Gunn said that the ending of the Flash movie changed the DCU. Basically, Barry kept going back in time and changing the past, which caused the future to change as well, such as some characters having their backstory changed, being younger, older, or looking totally different. Which is why the events of Peacemaker Season 1 can still be canon, but the scene where the Justice League shows up probably never happened.
The truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon, with the exception of Justice League.
As for an explanation for how this will affect Peacemaker Season 2, James Gunn has said that he has a way in, and that Season 2 will actually deal with the changes.
Kind of deal with in the next season of Peacemaker.
So it's probably more likely that the new DCU takes place on a new Earth or timeline entirely, since pretty much everyone is being recast. But certain events and stories from the past can stay the same if they're mentioned. This is the approach that James Gunn has taken more recently.
Real simply, nothing for sure is canon unless you see it in Creature Commandos forward for the DCU. In Creature Commandos, you'll hear them talk about things that happened in Suicide Squad or Peacemaker. Well, then those things automatically become canon.
But if you want to know exactly what is canon, here's your explanation. The Suicide Squad movie from 2021 is canon. Peacemaker Season 1 is also canon, and the character of Blue Beetle, played by Xolo Maridueña, will appear in the DCU, played by the same actor. And that's basically it. Everything after that will be part of the new DCU. The first project in the DCU is Creature Commandos, the new TV show airing Thursdays on Max. Creature Commandos also features multiple characters from the Suicide Squad, played by the same actors. It also explicitly references previous events from Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, thus making those events canon. So basically, nothing is canon from the DCEU unless a new movie or TV show has a character show up and mention something from the past. If they mention it, then it becomes canon. Everything else is brand new, and after Creature Commandos, the first DCU movie releases in July, with Superman. So, how will Superman establish the new DCU? Well, it's not an origin story. Lois Lane and Superman are already a couple in this movie. She knows that Clark Kent is Superman, and he's already a few years into his career. In addition, metahumans and superheroes already exist in the DCU. That's why we see so many side characters in the trailer. So, who are they? First up, we have Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. This is the Kendra Saunders version of Hawkgirl. In the comics, the original Hawkgirl was called Shaira Sanders. She was a reincarnation of an ancient Egyptian princess who was killed. Kendra Saunders, on the other hand, is actually Shaira's niece, but she's also part of the same chain of reincarnation because Kendra is the reincarnated version of an Egyptian angel. We only see her briefly in the trailer, but we can see that she has super strength and wings that allow her to fly. Next up is Guy Garner. He's a Green Lantern from the sector of Earth with years of experience. He's played by Nathan Fillion in this movie, and you can tell he's a bit older, so he'll probably be disagreeing with Superman on how to be a hero. Next up is Mr. Terrific, Played by Eddie Gathegi, Mr. Terrific is a super genius inventor and scientist with an eidetic memory, who even rivals Batman and Lex Luthor in his level of intelligence. Now, another important detail is that all three of these characters are wearing black and white suits with the same logo. This is because they're wearing Lord Tech suits designed by billionaire Maxwell Lord. In the comics, Maxwell Lord created the Justice League International. The Justice League International was basically an alternative Justice League that existed while the real Justice League was sort of on a break for editorial reasons that pertain to DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths reboot. In the movie, it seems like the JLI are already active superheroes who are controlled by Maxwell Lord. They probably disagree with Superman because he's a free agent who isn't controlled by anyone. Next up is Metamorpho, played by Anthony Carrigan, who you might know from Barry. Metamorpho was a regular human being who was subject to scientific experiments. In the comics, Simon Stagg used the ancient orb of Ra to turn Rex Mason into Metamorpho, giving him the ability to transform into any element. In the trailer, we can already see Stagg Industries appear, which is the company owned by businessman Simon Stagg, so it's possible we'll learn how and why Metamorpho was created. Next up is everyone's favorite moment from the trailer. It's Krypto the Superdog. In the comics, Krypto was sent from the planet Krypton to Earth so that Superman would have a dog best friend to grow up with. Unsurprisingly, Krypto is also an alien with basically all of Superman's powers. Next up is Ultraman, or at least that's who we think this character is. Ultraman is an evil alternate version of Superman in the comics, but in the trailer we can only see this figure in a black suit. This is where the DCEU starts to get a bit complicated. In the leaked set photos from the Superman movie, we can see Frank Grillo playing Rick Flag Sr., who is arresting Superman while Ultraman walks alongside him. As a reminder, Rick Flag Sr. is the father of Rick Flag Jr. from the Suicide Squad movie. Remember earlier when I mentioned Creature Commandos? That's the first TV show in the DCU, and Rick Flag Sr. is one of the main characters in the show. He's going to appear in all three of the first DCU projects, Creature Commandos, Superman, and Peacemaker Season 2. Apparently, in Superman, he'll be taking over the operations of Argus from Amanda Waller and going after Superman. Alongside him, we can also see the Engineer, who's a character that's going to appear in the future DCU movie, The Authority. But for now, that's pretty much everything we know about the new DCU. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited to see in James Gunn's DCU? And does the reboot make sense to you? If you have any questions, put them down below and we'll make some new videos explaining them. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.